In the river Aegyptus, though eager I was to press onward home, the gods they stayed me, for that I had not offered them acceptable sacrifice of hecatombs. And the gods ever desired that men should be mindful of their commandments. Now there is an island in the wash of the waves over against Aegyptus, and men call it Pharos, within 1 day's voyage of a hollow ship, when shrill winds blow fair in her wake. And therein is a good haven, whence men launch the gallant ships into the deep, when they have drawn a store of deep black water. There the gods held me 20 days, nor did the sea winds ever show their breath, that they served to waft ships over the broad back of the sea. And now would all our corn have been spent, and likewise the strength of men, except some goddess had taken pity on me and saved me, Eidothee, daughter of the mighty Proteus, the ancient one of the sea. For most of all I moved her heart, when she met me wandering alone apart from my company, who were ever roaming round the isle, fishing with bent hooks, for hunger was gnawing at their belly. So she stood by, and spake and uttered her voice, saying, Art thou so foolish, stranger, and feeble-witted? Or art thou wilfully remiss, and hast pleasure in suffering? So long time art thou holden in the isle, and canst find no issue therefrom, while the heart of thy company faileth within them. Even so she spake, and I answered her, saying, I will speak forth, what goddess soever thou art, and tell thee that in no wise am I holden here by my own will, but it needs must be that I have sinned against the deathless gods, who keep the wide heaven. Howbeit do thou tell me, for the gods know all things. Which of the immortals is it that binds me here, and hath hindered me from my way, and declare as touching my return how I may go over the teeming deep? So I spake, and straightway the fair goddess made answer. Yea now, sir, I will plainly tell thee all. Hither restoreth that ancient one to the sea, whose speech is sooth, the deathless Egyptian Proteus, who knows the depths of every sea, and is the thrall of Poseidon, and who, they say, is my father that begat me. If thou couldst but lay an ambush and catch him, he will surely declare to thee the way and measure of thy path, and will tell thee of thy returning, how thou mayest go over the teeming deep. Yea, and he will show thee, O fosterling of Zeus, if thou wilt, what good thing and what evil hath been wrought in thy halls, while thou hast been faring this long and grievous way. Alrighty, we get a story within a story, as Menelaus is regaling his time being waylaid. Remember, Nestor had said as much as this when Telemachus was in Pylos, that Menelaus was put aside and could not come to the aid of Agamemnon during the scandal, if we want to call it that, of Aegyptus and Orestes. Agamemnon being Menelaus' brother. I'm getting ahead of myself because I'm assuming that's where we're going tomorrow. Let's talk a little bit about some of the folks being mentioned here. Eidothee is a sea nymph, daughter of Proteus. Those are all names mentioned today. That is who he is speaking to now. She is compassionate, tells essentially Menelaus how to get out of his situation. He has to capture Proteus in order to get the map, the dungeon map, in order to know how to get out, essentially. I mean, they're not in a dungeon, obviously. They're on an island, but you get my meaning. Proteus, though, is an ancient sea god. He is a servant of Poseidon, not a god on the same level as Poseidon, because Poseidon is the god of the sea, among many, many other things. You can imagine, you see why these rituals that they're doing all the time matter so much to them, because it's not just like, oh, I didn't wash my hands before doing this ritual, or, whatever the case might be. Oh, we didn't cut the choicest flank off the bull to sacrifice to Poseidon. It's not just about pissing off Poseidon or any other of the top tier gods, but they have servants as well, and those servants have daughters and sons, and you can piss any of them off, and they're gonna hold you in your place until you recognize your place in the world and show respect. So who knows if Poseidon even knows that Menelaus is waylaid? Of course he does. He knows everything. All the gods know everything. But does he care? I don't know. He's like, I don't know, it's too much bureaucracy, man. I got my own shit. I'm holding Odysseus hostage over here. Proteus, you deal with your own shit with Menelaus. But one other thing I want to mention here is that when Menelaus is asking who is holding him up, he does say, let me pull out the exact line here, "Which of the immortals is it that binds me here and hath hindered me from my way?" You'll hear the term immortals a lot. There's a 2011 film called Immortals, directed by Tarsem, starring Henry Cavill as Theseus. I mentioned that as perhaps foreshadowing for something coming up soon, maybe. But the immortals were essentially a collective term for the deathless gods, the gods who can't die. What else do we got here? How about some geographical info for today? Aegyptus is essentially Egypt in our real-world context. Mythologically, it's a land known for wealth and ancient knowledge, and this is the region where Menelaus is stranded, so the island is near Aegyptus. Pharos is the name of the island in which he is stranded. And also, I think worth mentioning, though, not necessarily a specific place, that characters treat the sea as a location in and of itself. It's not like a road necessarily, or like when we think of, at least here in America, the collective roadway system. That's not how they're thinking of the sea, land and sea. I think they're thinking of the sea more as a domain. This is of Poseidon's domain. We need safe passage over the teeming deep, or whatever terminology you want to apply to it. It is a domain filled with life, filled with monsters, filled with gods, the way that all other natural forces in the world are controlled or filled or embodied by gods. Because there was a passage towards the end of Book 3 when they're talking about choosing whether to go by land or by sea, and they choose to go by land, and land has a bit of a different context. There isn't a association with a specific god or domain when you're talking about land, except for specific places on land or of land. The way that the sea itself seems to be a location or domain, as I said. Okay, anything else to cover for today? I don't think so. We're still in the middle of Menelaus' story. Shall we hear the end of his monologue? Will it end tomorrow? I don't even know that much. So join me here then as we venture forth into more of Menelaus' story being waylaid on Pharos. Until then, okay, goodbye. Odyssey is part of the Gruntwork Podcast Network. The show is produced, edited, and hosted by Landon Solano. The original text of The Odyssey, written by Homer. Theme song by Neuroflow. You can support this show and other shows like it by going to patreon.com/gruntworkpod. Thank you for listening. See you tomorrow.